These Kenyans had not witnessed in a long period of time. That is why we thought external borrowings are always very good. But external borrowings have their risk. The risk here is, what happened last year is by January last year, or by December 2023, we had external debts of 6 trillion. And by shilling just appreciating from 160 to 130, that debt has come down from 6 to 5 trillion. What is the effect of that? First, you are saving on the, if you are paying the principal amount, you are paying less. Way less. A sixth less. But again, interest charged is also less. So if that continues over the period, you save quite a lot. Again, in that area, we are saving. So that risk also you must balance off with the risk of domestic debt and see where you are. So I think that I've explained even the dollar effect that Mheshimiwa you asked. But we can't go too low also. We can't also allow the shilling to appreciate too much. In fact, our assessment is that the shilling at 130 is the most reasonable for our economy. Because if you make shilling too strong, then you also discourage exports. And the moment you discourage exports, you will not have foreign exchange reserves. And you will be more exposed because now you don't have the ability even to pay your debts. So we have to balance it in a way that promotes exports and also manages imports. So you can see both exports and imports have been going up with 130 shillings or 129 shillings. That is a clear sign that that is a balancing rate that we should maintain. On, well, I think we have talked about sessional paper, but I agree with you. I think I need to get more to engage. But again, some of these things is just by sitting down with your colleagues and discussing, like when Honorable Kenaim, you came with your team to us. What we need to do now is to see, is there some deliberate efforts to mainstream that into the budget? What can we do? We may not do everything in 1 year, but we need to reflect inclusivity in our budget. Because it's expounded in our, including even the Article 201 on public finance, talks about inclusivity. It's a constitutional requirement. Enticing Kenyans coming, but can I just say something? I hope it will not be too controversial, you know. We have the media here, but it's okay. This is what I've been saying. If we cannot fight corruption and root it out, we better allow people who have got this illicit money to invest it here. Because, you see, they are stealing this money and escaping with it to Dubai and developing Tanzania, Dubai, and employing people there. What if that money which is building a mall in Tanzania from a Kenyan was building a mall here? How many Kenyans would be employed? So I was saying, the most desirable, fight corruption, root it out. If we fail, then allow it. And tell people, if you find a way, we will look for you somehow. But if you escape, just put it here. We will not follow you. If you escape with the ng'ombe, tutakuruhusu uchinje ng'ombe na sisi zote tukule. Badala ya escape with the ng'ombe to the bush and you allow hyenas to eat it there. But I hope that is not going to be very controversial. But it will be. So we need to, but again, but there are also Kenyans who are doing good investment out. We just need to create a conducive environment for that investment. Equalization fund, I can't agree more. Arrears is there. The only challenge we have is the fiscal space. And again, now when you put it in a way that it is not meeting its objective, then I don't see why. And always reducing arrears. But we saved this financial year. I made sure that we didn't reduce the equalization fund. There was an attempt to reduce the equalization fund again, and I said we can't do that. New formula on sharing, I agree. We must look at the formula. This thing of saying where people don't live should not get money. You know, everybody needs, hata kama sisi ni watu watatu, we drink water the same way 10 people drink. So they may drink more, give them more, but make also water available for us. So just saying that an area should not get allocation because they don't have people, give population a percentage, but it should not be too much. Give area also a percentage commensurate with it. Give all other factors, including poverty index. Single treasury account, I think I've already mentioned this. I'll make sure. In fact, my PS is leading this to ensure that it is implemented. Public debt, high interest rate, crowding out, I think this I addressed. I have an advantage of broad-based government. I think I have an advantage of the confidence of the people of Kenya. I need to take advantage of that, yes. I agree. Reducing public participation budget. You know, Honorable Makali, it is true. Parliament has a role to play in budget process. This time, we know that the 2010 Constitution made Parliament budget-making body. And so, yes, the executive has the responsibility. They have a manifesto to implement. We have more advantage in terms of expertise to come up with what should be the most desirable budget, but for equity, there is need for people's representative to come in. And so there is need to have some allocation. And when actually we went to the US, this money we call public participation, it is my creation. We went with Honorable Mutava Musimi to the US, and we were told about this terminology that has now been abused of pork barrel. It is not a crime. In the US, it is recognized, the pork barrel. And that is where we got that terminology. And when we came back, I insisted to Honorable Mutava that we need to implement it. Now, there has been money for public participation. Unfortunately, there has also been abuse. And that is, I think, what... And this abuse, honorable members will allow me, it did not start recently. It has been there. Sometimes you do budget, then last minute, we used to complain with Honorable Makali here. Last minute, the chair comes with figures altered. I hope, Honorable Atandi, you will not do that. Figures altered. In fact, sometimes we used to get shocked on the floor of the House. These are not the figures that we passed. And now you are told the president has said. You know, you have no way of walking to State House to confirm and verify the facts, and you take it. And by the way, most chairs, if not all, have that unlimited access to head of state. So you would imagine that they have consulted. And you are members of that committee. You don't know. Now, you people had put the budget, but it was altered, the public participation. A lot of money were put in it. It was 18 billion, I hear. When Gen Zs revolted, it came down to 12.9. Now, a lot of it were in areas that were not making a lot of sense. So the head of state, when we met, and actually it was brought by the CS Roads, that look, I have a budget here, which I don't know where it came from. My people don't know where it came from. It came from your people. And the head of state told me, CS, this money, reallocate. I had no reason to object to that. But I think we left something out of that. Let me not go into the details. But public participation, I support. We need to still have it. Make sure that the counties we have identified, we give allocation so that there is that affirmative action. So it is something I support. I'm sure when we'll get to budget estimate, tutaangalia hiyo. NGCDF, I made a promise. Unfortunately, I expected some external finances to come. In fact, even when I spoke in Avasha, I said we will release the money, and if we get some external finances, I'll even do 2 months. There was a month I was supposed to do 2 months. But I only did 1 and didn't do the 2 months. Why? Because the external finances have not come. Actually, up to now, I'm waiting for some disbursement either this week or next week. So that is the challenge. We have actually been struggling with domestic finances. IMF did not give us the 9th review, money for the 9th review, because we didn't go to the 9th review. There was no time. This program is coming to an end on fast. We are losing about $780 million out of that which we had factored in our budget. We are also, the World Bank has also not disbursed. There is this bill which you people still have, Parliament have, the conflict of interest and the social protection bill. Once those things are off the table, then World Bank will disburse. I have not received that money. So what do? The little money that I get, I balance off. Counties now have not been paid for January and February. And CDF as well. And GAF, I think 50%. So what I intend to do is the moment we get this money, I will make sure that the money is disbursed. It's not out of my liking. Sometimes you sit down and ask yourself, I have received 200 billion. In fact, that is probably sometimes the highest we get, maybe 210. Like this month, I'm looking at the progress, we may hit 210. You get 200 billion. This 200 billion, number one, you have debts to pay. Like January, February. 1 month, you are paying 55 billion shillings, Chinese loan. Month of January and February is very bad, including March, for the Chinese loans. That is the time we pay them. So you have 55 billion to pay. After paying 55 billion, you have won 145. The salary has now gone to 80 billion per month. You pay that salary to the staff, then whatever remains, you have the counties to release money to. You have security operation in Samburu. You have to release money to. You have